Ciao, hola, ni hao. My name is Alex, you're watching Know the Game, and yeah, as per so-called marketing of YouTube, I should start with the 30-second hook. Or even I should start my first video about marketing, the actual lecture video, where I will tell you about the importance of marketing, the value, the history, blah, 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 blah. Well, something I covered already in this video, but the main thing I want to start straight away with the practical appliance and essential step that we need to do if we even thinking about considering our business and considering marketing in our company. Yes, today I would like to introduce the longest hook of them all on YouTube. Do you like playing computer games? No. Be honest, I said. It's really irrelevant. Are you playing Witcher 3 or Kingdom Come, Battlefield or Skyrim or whatever? Wouldn't it be great to actually experience it for real? Virtual reality is being adopted for more and more games, and it's becoming a new trend. And basically, more and more people would highly appreciate to finally have a feeling of becoming this hero who's smashing hordes of evil and not smashing the furniture and their own apartment, right? And if only we were giving this setup that would allow us to play those games for real. Wouldn't be that cool, huh? Well, at least that's what creators of Omni VR and large amount of their donors from crowdfunding truly believed as well. They created a platform for VR games where you can secure yourself and safely enjoy virtual reality games at home. But not only virtual reality games didn't work out and didn't boom as we were expecting them to be. We noticed that there are certain things that we missed in our expectations and our dreams about virtual reality games. And it's nothing about, well, physical tolerance of earlier virtual reality technology. No. The things went even more deeper in an unexpected way. First, it starts with your mom and then wife. Just imagine you convincing them to install this kind of equipment at your house, blocking completely one of your rooms. But then there's another interesting momentum that we really missed in our dreams what virtual reality truly is. Physical fit. Now, here we are with our friends playing a virtual reality game which doesn't require us to jump, climb and run around. Even here, us walking is just our own initiative. We came to this place to play 3 games, but even after first game, which lasted just 15 minutes, we were sweaty and tired as hell. Now imagine your regular computer game fan. He was able to convince mom and wife to, well, let's get it, please, let's get it. But how soon after playing this game, he will say, screw it! Honest to God, screw it! Yes, today's topic, research, not a side quest, the critical job in marketing. Market research. Customer need research. The work you do before you launch a product, open a company, or take any commercial step, left or right. And if you're early in your journey to be an entrepreneur, this job will be done by you, yes. Because most likely, if you are starting your own business, you don't have a marketing department just yet. So stick around, because this will help you if you ever will consider opening your own business. Here's the rule. The louder someone promises 100% win, the more you must run your own research. The shinier the scheme, the deeper your due diligence. Why I love China as a case study? Well, because first of all, scales are huge, tempo is fast. Easy money plays everywhere, and a lot of people see that, wow, you can make so much if you'll open your own coffee shop, bubble tea. On paper it looks really simple. Syrup, sugar, water, margins seem great. Open a cute cafe and go. And then they do open, then close, same street, multiple cycles in a year. Franchise or independent, it's irrelevant. And what is the main problem? Well, no research. Yeah, there are some other things as well, and we'll slightly touch them and we'll cover them more in entrepreneurship class. But The main issue, they don't do any research. They just say, oh my God, this business is booming. Yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing. So what marketing research in one sentence? Well, collect data, analyze, make decision. Sound easy, isn't it? Well, not exactly so easy. You see, we need to get the right data, ask right people in the right way and also in the right moment as well, believe it or not. Cutting through a lot of bias to make a call. That's the hard part of it. So what exactly do we need to figure out? Well, textbook says following. Well, obviously, customer needs. Second, market trends. Third, solutions. What first and second are using to drive growth and profit. Fourth is very interesting. These are sources of advantage. And again, they are built on the first and second point, customer needs and market trends. But you see, those things all true and all too general. Theory assumes perfect capabilities, real life doesn't. When we chase the big picture, we often miss local specifics. Those local specifics decide whether a neighborhood cafe survives. But all this theory is all about global markets. So let's go step by step and start with the customer needs. First question, who is the customer exactly? Sometimes you define the target and study their needs. Sometimes you scan a limited market and ask, who here, exactly here in this area, could be our customer? Then study that group. What do we study? Needs, wants, preferences, from demographics to the habits. What matters most to them, not only in the product and service, but in the surrounding experience. Every product or service solves a problem. The more relevant problem you solve, the more attractive you are. But every problem you choose to solve costs you. If you fix things customers don't actually value, you burn cash for zero return. Prioritize what is important for your customer. It's all about the context. At the transportation hub, I want coffee fast to go. In scenic center, I want time and atmosphere, and I likely pay more for quality and space. Same customer, different context, different choice. I use coffee shops on purpose because this is something that we really all can relate to and really observe for ourselves. This industry doesn't allow any mistakes. You have to learn fast or it will fast run out of the business. This doesn't apply to any other industries. It will take a lot of time for them to learn on observation, and therefore the observation might be made too late. The most interesting moment is trends. Now, what are truly trends? Is this thing or another thing is trendy, or it's all just because of the media? Because someone is make you believe that this is trendy. And all this word mambo jumbo, also a very good, interesting momentum that we need to consider. So when it comes to the trends, this is very critical to do the research and to make sure what is the truth, what is the bias, what is the obvious lie. Especially trends are a very interesting thing when somebody is trying to sell you a franchise and they're making impression that is popular. Basically, the whole concept of the trend brings us straight away to the main point that we have to go straight forward to. Why research is non-negotiable. Research protects you from guessing your way into the market, helping you not to become this 90% that die within first 2 years, and gives you a shot to be at least 8% that are stable. It's not just about confirming hunches, it's about discovering which needs matter, where and to whom before you bet the company. So we decided to conduct the research. What next? Well, first let's outline there are two types of research, primary and secondary. Primary research is all about getting the new data, fresh data ourselves. Interviews, observations, surveys. As per secondary research, it's all about using existing data that we have. So some sort of industrial reports, news, statistics, anything that already made before us and we see more or less valuable for us to analyze. Primary research is the most expensive one. Yes, we can actually spend our own time and do it ourselves, but most likely it's better to address, well, appropriate company that have an experience and expertise in conducting these kind of researches. Or you can actually combine and, do research yourself, but at least get consulted What questions do you need to ask? Where and whom do you need to ask these questions from? Yeah. Therefore, also it's important, indeed, it's important where to ask them, because we have even as old anecdote, old joke, which will basically explain you the whole concept of where. One time in early 2000s, one website posted a poll, survey if you will, where they asked, do you use internet? 100% of participants said, yes, we do. Now, is this a really useful research for us? Secondary research is the cheapest. Why? Well, because someone already did it for you. And we're not talking about you outsourcing research to somebody else. No. We're talking about you using existing third-party researches already, which are related to your industry, related to your interest. But the main thing about them, they might be a little bit biased or conducting research with the wrong sample. Therefore, and this is where it comes very important. Primary research is about something that you need for your business, for exactly your business and about your customer needs. And here's the trick to it. Basically, primary research allows us to find out our customer needs. As per secondary research, we can actually find out more about market trends, industry trends. And obviously, it's better for you to combine. You can't just do primary research. You also need secondary research, and obviously vice versa. The main mistake with primary research, don't go on a path of answers that you would prefer more. Be ready for real answers that diverge from what you got on your mind. Therefore, if you are going to conduct it yourself, exclude close people from your surveys, especially if they already know what you got on mind. And definitely exclude them from the focus group that will evaluate this or other solution you plan to implement. When using secondary research, be very careful. Don't go to the internet and look the successful success and business coaches, or even worse, businessmen from the industry who are bragging about how successful they become because they implemented this and that. Nobody will tell you the real truth. I mean, let's be real. If something brings them money, they will not share about it, because otherwise you will take a chunk of their profit of their success, right? Study reports from needed industry, pour over the business news and articles, and you can always dig into academic databases. Yes, you have to be careful. Publications differ, but still, you can definitely extract something interesting from secondary research. Next thing that we should take from the theory is quantitative and qualitative research. The first one when we are searching for majorities and minorities, where second one is about already more detailed personal opinions on the question of interest. One important tip when creating quantitative research: be sure to include screening items that help correct the pool towards the right customer. When you do survey, you can't always truly conduct it only with your target audience. It's impossible to make sure that you are talking exactly to the people that, yes, they are exactly your target audience. Therefore, in the questionnaire, don't focus only on the questions about the product service. The respondents' data is also important. In qualitative research, you need a properly selected sample in advance, where you can dive into the more interesting, detailed answers. If you go really deep, don't underestimate so-called focus groups. If the funds allow, they can be easily organized through the specialized companies. Obviously, it's better to have them when something is more or less ready for launch, and not when you are still working on something you are only planning to bring to some kind of state. Next important tool is observation. The insight that you cannot survey into existence. Survey means things. Observations fill the gap. My first business that I launched in 2008 was because at the first job that I had when I came back to Latvia in 2006, I was a system administrator in ISP company, internet service provider. And therefore, we had this interesting observation with the guys that, well, if people don't have anyone who knows the computers, and neither next of kin or neighbors can help them, when they have something wrong with their computer, they will call internet provider. And this was very interesting thing, because first of all, internet provider really didn't welcome that, because helping the customer is really nice, but their business is not on a computer service, and they will lose a lot of time. Just think about 2008. Most of the problems were solved by reinstalling Windows, and that was taking quite a lot of time. Not to mention, those days you need to have to install extra drivers, extra software on top of that, and it was consuming 3 up to 4 hours sometimes, because computers were not that fast either. And therefore, yeah, internet providers were not happy, but they were the first to call when somebody had a problem and didn't have the local help with that. And I used this observation to start my own first business in PC services and repairs. And basically, I came to all those internet service providers and offered them to send a brochure with their bills, monthly bills. Yeah, guys, 2008, all our monthly bills we were getting by regular mail, not even email. The main thing, they welcomed that, because this way they knew, oh my God, my staff will do the job that makes money for me, not wastes my time. And that's how unknown company, just from the scratch, was straight away able to take the top position in the market of PC service and repairs in Riga within several months. And yeah, obviously then there was a financial crisis, and in 2009 I had to sell my share of the company because things were not going really well for me. But the guys who actually stayed in the company, and in general these were our employees, they had a successful business running up to these days. But this story about observation I'm giving you not to brag how awesome I am and how I spot the opportunities and then sometimes eventually fail them. No, observation turns hidden behavior into disruption and product decisions. You don't always need a bigger budgets. You need to watch where the customer actually go when the problem appear. What they actually need, what they actually, something that surveys and analysis of industrial reports cannot cover and unable to cover. So let's summarize. How we do market research for our company? Well, we set the task, right? What and why? We must find out then. Is it the customer? The problems that concern him? What else our customer needs when coming into the contact with our solution? What will attract him to use our solution rather than just one he used to? Don't forget other nuances from competitors to capabilities and potential of the existing market. We choose research methods. Do we do surveys? Where do we interview? Which reports do we study? Where do we look for information? And what can we inspect and what should be observed? Basically, we collect the information. I hope it's truly clear, because it's irrelevant are we doing research ourselves or through the third parties. It all depends on our capabilities and trust. Then we analyze. We turn these results into data so we can draw a conclusion and, well, corresponding recommendations, right? And the most important thing, we record everything. We might miss something, we are inexperienced, and maybe at this or another point we made wrong conclusion from this and that. So we always need to have a record of not only what we research and what was the data, but also record all the conclusions. So later on, if something didn't work out, you can trace where you made a mistake, so you would be able to adjust it. Don't count on your mind and memory. Yeah, we all have perfect memory until something will happen. And then we'll just say, whoopsie. Okay, so you don't want to make it for yourself? Well, make it for investors, because they will be really interested to know what kind of research you made and how you came to this or another conclusion. Don't want to do it for yourself? Do it for investors at least. Please. All right, we outlined this. Let's start with the potential pitfalls. And the first one is the craziest one. Asking the right question. This is the reason why you need to consult specialists. Because of your experience, because of the new specifics of the market, maybe you're getting into the new market, you might not be able to ask the right question. And Omni VR today was a great example where people didn't even thought there could be a very severe situation with the fact that you need to bring 4 square meter device at your house. Not to mention already physical feet of average game player. And yes, other companies can see it, professionals can see it. And this is how Omni VR found out the issue that they had on the Shark Tank, where the professionals straight away spotted the issue and said, guys, no, this will not work out. With the new technology, sometimes it's very tricky. Let's review Kodak case, because what killed Kodak? Well, digital camera killed Kodak, right? But who invented the first digital camera? Kodak did. And here is the trick. They didn't even want to ask the question if the people want to use the new technology all the way. And they didn't even consider that something can be used different way. No, they wanted to sell digital camera the way they were selling analog camera, so they could actually profitalize more on the films. And this basically killed the whole concept of their digital cameras and allowed others to take over. Simple as that. 100 years of near monopoly of Kodak was destroyed by their own creation just because they didn't ask the right questions, or maybe they didn't accept the answers that people were giving. Second, an unrepresentative sample. You didn't make sure that sample consists of your target audience. Thanks to biases or poorly made surveys, or for example, you've forgotten to include screening questions. And in online service, you got answers from demographic group that is absolutely not yours. Okay, you personally surveyed people on the street you're interested in, where your plan is to open the salon. But they rarely appear in this area and live far away. They would never be your customer base, but you never bothered to ask them, are they from around here? Number 3, insufficient number of respondents. Well, you just couldn't be bothered, right? And you just got 100 respondents, and that's what conducted your research. And maybe, this is good for a coffee shop, but definitely not for the new phone. Number 4, incorrectly formulated questions. And this is not about the screening questions. It's more about, let's say, leading questions, where we push people towards the answer that will satisfy our agenda. It's not about us, it's about the customer, consumer. Number 5, incorrectly analyzed data or wrong conclusions. And the main thing, we all humans, we make mistakes. And why I point out this pitfall? Well, just because you will need to make records, so you can come back to your records and see where you made the mistake, where you made incorrect conclusion, or maybe you analyzed data wrong. We all humans, we will make the mistakes. And that's why always, goddamn, always record your findings, your conclusions. Everything you do, you need to record. Don't just say, oh, I have it all in my mind. No, you don't. And yes, with this I will conclude our first marketing video, well, marketing lecture video. And yeah, for some viewers, it's not what they would expect from marketing lecture. Because we are so obsessed about marketing as advertisement. But I'm proving to you right now that before we do advertisement, there's a huge amount of job to be done. And marketing as advertisement takes place in marketing, but smaller place that you won't even imagine. There's quite a lot of work to be done, and that's the issue about, I guess, modern education. Just like in schools, we're not being taught much about labor law or law itself. Same for entrepreneurs. Yeah, they've been told about the marketing, they've been told about entrepreneurship, but they never been explained the essence of everything. Or maybe it was explained by theory guys, or they never read between the lines. Because, well, we have a lot of simplification in our education system for you to understand things in general. And therefore, let's deep dive into it more. Omni VR had a large support base, and thankfully, just before they started producing the product on massive scale, they visited a show like Shark Tank, where they were pointed out the flaws of their market research, so they could pivot and change the way so they would not meet immediate bankruptcy. And right now they still exist. They pivoted, they are now aiming for other industries, they are aiming for other things. They're not so concentrated on household VR gaming platform. But I'm afraid not all of my viewers have such a big support base like Omni VR. They don't have a chance to visit shows like a Shark Tank. Therefore, mistakes like this might be very critical to them. And this affects not only creating such a huge device like virtual reality platform. No, it applies to any kind of business. Any kind of business requires your research. Usually, such mistakes like failing to conduct market research lead to bankruptcy. And therefore, we have these statistics. We're saying from all 100% of the companies ever opened, around 90% end up bankrupted within first 2 years. And if you watch this video, you will make already 1 or 2 mistakes less in your way on launching your business. I used Omni VR for a reason. The VR industry had a lot of hype 10 years ago. Many companies rushed in. We saw many products fail and huge investment wasted. Because even though we have good methods and tools, hype, and often biased hype, took over our judgment. My advice, don't follow the crowd, or at least don't follow them blindly. When everything is obvious, nothing is. You see, with the big investors, they are investing in a lot of different industries because they kind of gamble, but they know that one of the industries will be very profitable in the future and it will cover all the expenses of others that got bankrupted. But can you, as a small business, have the same gamble? Nope. When you're starting your first business, you need to be extra careful, and market research helps in it. Yes, the very first step in launching your own company is to do a market research, where you will learn about your customers, about the demand, about the price, about the competitors. Do research and then decide, are you really able, are you really ready, and do you have what it takes to get into this business? If you decided, okay, I can do that, well, what will be the next step? Let's learn more about the customer and learn about their needs and wants. Well, we're gonna learn about it in our next video, but for today, thanks so much for watching this video. I highly appreciate the guys who finished up to this moment. Your likes and your comments would be highly appreciated, and yeah, subscribe to this channel if you don't want to miss any new videos. But for today, I'm finished. Thank you, Sesia, Ham Kong Kap, Danke schön, and bye bye.